discovering new information. Hello, caller.
Yeah, how you doing there, George? My name is Bob Pickett. I'm a farmer out here in Bastrop. I first wanted to make a comment and let you know about that quote that you had mentioned. I recently read that in a book called Inside the White House by Ronald Kessler.
Oh, about President Johnson saying I'll have those N-words voting Democratic for the next 100 years?
Yeah, that's exactly the quote right there that I'm referring to.
What was the name of the author?
His name is Ronald Kessler, Kessler.
I think that does sound familiar, yes.
And the book's called Inside the White House.
Okay, that must be where I read it. I remember it was on somebody's shelf, and I looked at it, and I was like, whoa! And,
yeah, there's all kinds of presidential quotes in there, but what I wanted to get to in my conversation is I've had a farm out here for about 30 years now, and I seem to have a little trouble with the illegals coming onto my property and just kind of running about. I mean, I've got a lot of wooded area as well as some farmland out there, and sometimes I'll catch them camping or whatever. But the strangest thing is sometimes I'd catch them in my barn milking my cows.
Is that right? They want some free milk.
Yeah, and I tried to call the INS about it. I mean, the cops can't say that they can't do anything but, get them for trespassing because, I mean, you can't really say that they're stealing anything if they're milking a cow.
Well, so what's wrong with arresting them for trespassing?
Well, the thing is, then you can't find them. I run out there with my shotgun, fire a couple shots off, and, and they go scattering off into the woods, and by the time the cops get out there, I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, it's a tough problem. As I said, all I know is to call the INS or the police in your case, maybe the sheriff. You may have to just, physically approach them with a gun drawn on them and get on your cell phone and immediately call the police and hold them there until the police come. I mean, I don't know what the answer is to tell you, my friend, but it's, nobody has a right to trespass on your property. And so that can get to be a dangerous situation. That was kind of why I called. It got to be out of hand where there was just a whole bunch of unknown people coming into our neighborhood. And obviously it was not a home anymore. It was becoming a way station for a dozen individuals a night. It seemed to be ever changing. And it just looked very suspicious. And it was an uncontrollable situation where it just caused me to worry about the safety of my wife and other neighbors. So I called the INS, and they came, and the place was, very few people left there after they came through. So it really does work. I was a little skeptical. They took my number over the phone, and it was a toll-free number. Who knows where the operator was? But within a few weeks, it was a far less number of people there for a couple months.
Yeah, I wasn't concerned so much about them stealing the cow's milk as that they can damage the animal if they're not milking it right. I mean, that's a very delicate process, and you can infect another just so quickly. Little teeth will fall off, and then they can get sick and die.
Well, I didn't realize that. Well, you certainly want to protect your property, and you got to do what you got to do. Just be careful because. It's so easy for the law to be turned against you for using undue force and that sort of thing. But, I think you'd be within your rights to hold a gun on them and call the police until make sure they don't escape. And if they wanted to run, though, I don't know if you could get away with shooting them even in the leg. That might be construed as undue force. It's a crazy time that we're living in.
Yeah, I thought about just trapping them and stringing a big net up in the trees and kind of pulling the rope when they go run after fire them a gun.
Just probably put up a sign
or something until they get there.
Just put up a sign saying no trespassing, whatever that is in Spanish, and let them know this will be enforced, and they'll probably respect that. They know that there's some pretty ornery Americans, and they'd be pretty smart to just pass your property on by if they saw a sign like that. I would try that.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah, these are desperate people, and we have to keep that in mind. And
this is John.
Hi, John. What's up?
I just had a thing to say about this sobriety test, the new thing they have around there.
Sobriety test.
Yeah, it makes me really upset because now they have these random sobriety tests, and I'm sitting there driving my car, cruising along, and they'll pull me over and they'll tell me to get out and check to see if I have beer, and I think that's invading my privacy.
Well, they just don't want you to run into people.
Well, don't you think it's kind of inappropriate? I'm sitting there what if I'm trying to get to a very important date or something, and they pull me over and they search my car and stuff?
Well, it does.
Well, what about like a devil or a Satan, if you will?
Again, just another energy, an opposite energy. If you consider in manifestation, there is no absolute. There's black and white, you know, at least, you know, there's different aspects. And so in creation, all good and all bad is all part of one creation. And I do believe in karma, so I believe there's a law underlying what we would normally refer to as good and evil.
Well, what about like aliens, like little green fellows? Do you believe in them?
Not green fellows per se necessarily. I do believe that there are definitely extra-planetary or extra-cosmic. Hello, caller, on the air.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, yourself?
Very good. I had a couple of questions for you because I come to this country from India,
Yes?
and I practice Hinduism.
Okay, go ahead.
And I wanted to know, would you believe in parallels with my religion? And if you believe in nature and natural remedies and these sorts of things?
Yes, without question, all of the above. I think that the Hindu religion is a beautiful religion. I think like the Bhagavad Gita, for instance, is a very, very beautiful book. And natural remedies, I think, are very valid as well. And I think that we'll see a continuing emphasis on more holistic approaches to healing as well. Anything else you care to add?
You said recently in the program that you're sort of like Buddhism. Do you believe in the big fat Buddha?
I do believe that. I'm going to attempt one more call. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, I think you kind of look like that guy from old Hanson. Were you in that group that
No, I wasn't in that group, Hanson. I'm glad you're a fan of that group, but no, not affiliated with them. Thanks for your call. I do appreciate that.